Hello and welcome to SWS CBSE Class 11 English course. In this video, we'll be studying Childhood, a poem written by Markus Natten, who is a Norwegian poet. Now, what is the poem about? The poem essentially concerns all of us. More of you because you are in your childhood years, right? It also talks about the poet who's actually reminiscing, remembering, talking about his past, that he's talking about his childhood, and there is a sense of nostalgia and there is also a sense of questioning. प्रश्न पूछे जा रहे हैं, क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा रहे हैं कि कहां पर मेरा बचपन चला गया. Where did my childhood go? When did my childhood go? These are the two primary questions that the poet is asking in this particular poem, which extends to 4 stanzas. Now, as I said, the poem is about childhood, which most of us consider one of the best parts of our life, isn't it? Because once you get into adulthood, you are caught up with the, dealing with life. You will go into some office, there will be office politics. Life generally throws a lot of challenges at you. Childhood is the part when you are, in a sense, taken care of by the adults in your family, right? But here, the poet does not have a very positive view of the adults that he has known. Okay, so there seems to be a bit of an issue out there. Now, he believes that there was innocence which has been lost. There was purity in childhood which also has been lost. And that's what the two questions that he's raising. When did my childhood go? And where did my childhood go? So the dominant theme ki baat karen, is poem ka dominant theme kya hai? So the dominant theme is, of course, as I said, of regret. There is one of lament. Arey yaar, mera bachpan kahan chala gaya? There's a sense of lament, right? It conveys disappointment, it conveys anguish. Okay, so if you use these kind of words in your answers, you will be talking about the theme of the poem in a very sharp manner, right? The form of the poem is asking a lot of rhetorical questions. He's asking the question, but he's not expecting answers from you or me. He's answering it himself, right? He's providing the information himself, and that is why it is a rhetorical question. And at the end of the poem, there is some kind of a self discovery कि हाँ, इसी वजह से यहीं पर मेरा बचपन चला गया था. This is where my childhood went. So the first stanza, when did my childhood go? Was it the day I ceased to be 11? Was it the time I realized that hell and heaven could not be found in geography and therefore could not be? Was that the day? Now, he's referring to a particular age, the age of 11. So he's wondering, did childhood stop when he turned 11, right? Cease to be means I stopped being 11. That is, he finished 11 years, right? Or was it the time when I realized that hell and heaven, my parents keep talking about, you will go to hell, if you do things, good things, you will go to heaven. But hell and heaven, I actually went and looked up my geography book. I did not find either hell or heaven in my geography book. So do they even really exist? Because in his mind, if they really existed, they should have been found in the geography textbook, isn't it? We say America is there. Yes, it is there. India is there. It is there. You can find these countries in your geography book. But can you find heaven or hell in your geography book? So he's raising at one level a rather pertinent question. Important सवाल उठा रहा है, right? So there is also a touch of humor, because you feel amused by when you have someone talking about, Arey yaar, he's expecting hell or heaven to be found in the geography book, right? So linked to the thought process also is the concept of education, right? He's more aware of the world and therefore he's able to articulate this particular point. Arey hell or heaven hai to dikhao mere ko geography ke textbook mein. That's the challenge he's in a sense throwing. Second stanza, when did my childhood go? Was it the time I realized that adults were not all they seemed to be? They talked of love and preached of love, but did not act so lovingly. Was that the day? Now he's now talking about the character, the personality, the persona of the adults. and it's a very stinging, very sharp commentary on what he thought of the adults. He says that the adults wear a mask. They wear a mask which hides their character, not the COVID mask. Okay, they wear a mask which hides their character. Mukhota bolte hain Hindi mein, right? They did not practice what they preached. They said, oh, we must all love everyone. We must be loving towards everyone. But in reality, they did not practice what they preached, what they spoke about. So he wants to know whether his childhood went away the day this realization came to him, this realization dawned on him. जब उसको इस बात का पता चला, क्या वही दिन था जब उसका बचपन चला गया? When did my childhood go? He wants a particular time when his childhood was a thing of the past. समझ में आ गया? Okay, so basically what this shows is that the child has a very poor impression of adults. There is lack of trust and faith in the adults, and it is probably the loss of this faith and trust that must have been major steps towards the loss of his childhood. Stanza 3. When did my childhood go? Was it when I found my mind was really mine, to use whichever way I choose, producing thoughts that were not those of other people? Very important line. But my own and mine alone. Was that the day? Now he is asking that while growing up, the poet while growing up realizes that he now takes his own decisions. Mind was really mine is an important line. The time he realized that he has a mind of his own. He has a mind of his own and not being controlled by others, referring to the adults. Adults बोलते हैं, wear this shirt today to the party, take this, do this homework today. The adults are making the decisions, taking the decisions for the children. Now he realizes, was it the day he decided that I have a mind of my own and I can now take my own decisions. So there is a what? There is a sense of individuality. मैं, जो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, मैं. There is an I, me kind of an emphasis, right? And this is probably the most defining stanza of this particular poem, that he is able to think for himself, not repeating what others thought for him or what others decided for him. His thoughts were his own and his alone. My own and mine alone. Please use this in your answers. Where did my childhood go? The last stanza. Where did my childhood go? It went to some forgotten place that's hidden in an infant's face. That's all I know. Now, in the first three stanzas, he was talking about ki kahan gaya, kab gaya. Now he's asking kahan gaya. Where did my childhood go, right? And the poet says that his childhood has gone into hiding to some forgotten place, but it can be found in an infant's face. He's no longer a child, but there is childhood in the face of an infant, a young little baby. And when he sees a small child, he may see that, and that's all he knows. In that sense, childhood is now a distant memory. It's no longer something which he can feel and experience right now because he has crossed childhood, but he can see that in the face of an infant. So it's a distant memory. It is in the past tense. So in the final lines, the poet is able to understand where his childhood has gone. The poet believes that though his childhood has become a memory for him, it has become a reality for some other child. For him, it is the past, but it is the present for another child. So in that sense, what does it mean? Childhood is a cyclical process. It moves on, right? We all are children at some point in time, and then we move into teenage and adulthood years, and it leaves one person and goes to another. So what is the main poetic device that the poet has used? One of refrain. When did my childhood go? Was that the day? Where did my childhood go? These are the lines which are repeated, the refrain, so that you create a particular impact. He's asking the question and he's also providing you with the answers, and the refrain carries the central message of this particular poem. I hope you enjoyed the poem. I hope you understood the poem. Samajh mein aaya? And all the question and answers are written in the PDF notes. Please go through them. You'll be more than comfortable with answering any question that comes from the childhood poem. Thank you very much for watching.